buenos dias, buenos tardes, y buenos noches, and todos en todo el mundo. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody all around the world, and thank you for joining us today for another Left 4 Dead 2 competitive shoutcast. My name is MK. I will be your caster and cameraman for today. And today we have round 4 of the Fallen Kings Championships. Question mark between Monsters Shall Live are going to be battling it out. Both teams have one loss in their L column, trying to not let it happen again. They'll be battling it out on No Mercy Rehab. The tank will be at 81% of the way through the map. What's up, Hambone, Cletus, Lycan? What's up, guys? Welcome to the chat. Alpha's up in the house. Good to see everybody here. Still a couple of seconds from getting the game live, and I am going to be having a co-caster join me shortly. He'll be a little late to joining. Just needs a few minutes. There he is. As soon as he joins into chat, it will be Barlow accompanying me. Give him a few seconds to jump in here. And oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Holy crap. And we have just hit our first goal for the really big tournament 8. Oh my. We have hit the 24-hour stream. We'll wait for Rails to get in here to talk about it. But we have got even closer. We are now 15% of the way from our goal. Here, everybody, check it out. We just had a massive donation come in. Check out, here it is. We're up to $711 now. Holy crap, thank you very much for the donation. Someone donated $500 to the tournament. Oh my goodness. We are here. And I didn't expect it to happen that fast, but we are a month in from announcing the really big tournament 7 or 8, and we are already 15% of the way there. And like I said before, I want to talk about it when Barlow gets in here, which I am going to try. And we try to get a link for this custom map. And Rails will join us momentarily, as he does the outdated version of the map, so it'll be a minute for Rails to get here. But thank you, Alpha. Shout out to Alpha in the chat. I don't know if a lot of people do realize this, but I'm going to talk about this for a brief moment. Alpha L for D 2 is the sole reason that I am currently still streamcasting right now. My computer completely died, and it was done with. There was no way I could get it to work. I thought I was going to need to spend a fortune, and this guy came through and saved the day. So, shout out to Alpha for making sure that my PC was upgraded and that what you have done for the community. Sometimes the people in the background have the biggest impact, even if they're not playing. So, cheers to you, mate, and thank you, my friend, for letting me continue what I do to love. And when Rails gets in here, I believe this is the first time he'll cast a Mercy Rehab game. And here comes Rails. He should join into the Discord very shortly. And we should get the game live. And we are one ready up away, and here he is. We are going to have the co-caster, also creator of Everybody Knows, the really big tournament 8. It is Rails Barlow. What is up, Rails?
Well, how are we doing, MK? I am extremely pleased to have, literally logged on and saw this match happening, and I recognized some of the names, and I was like, this is an absolute perfect time for some competitive Left 4 Dead 2. So I'll let you lead in terms of the context. I'm here for the action.
Well, I can tell you the action's going to start right now, but we'll talk about this at the end of the chapter because we got some great news. But here we go starting. Let's have the one and only Rails start this first attack off with a Jockey, Charger, Smoker, and the Spitter. Great opening attack here, Rails.
They're going to be going right in. The Charger is going to land. The Spit's going to go down on top of Lewis to boot, and we're going to have the Jockey just doing a little bit of body blocking there. But MK, they get the lands that they wanted on that first hit. Not massive damage, but not nothing either.
Yeah, that is huge. 12.5. We'll do rosters in a minute, but this is going to be very quick here, Rails. They need to get down the alley before spawns are up, or they're going to take a massive hit here. And you got to be quick. There was a spit block, and it's going to be close. There's going to be one survivor on the roof. Spawns are coming up now. I do believe they'll get down. Maybe a boom will land. Oh, they get down safe into the room, and the Hunter gets blasted out of the sky. What a shutdown here from Question Mark after taking big damage early.
Yep, and one of the reasons, honestly, I think we should be paying particular attention to this match as the rest of the hit is going to die there, right? Team Question Mark, their history as players and also as a squad, correct, in terms of RBT, this is going to be some high-level Survivor gameplay. I don't expect to see any kind of, just random, someone's getting lost 10 miles from their team and getting destroyed, they're wandering around and getting just, completely, annihilated from their own mistakes. It's going to need the special infected to really have some kind of coordination for this in a way that makes some kind of sense. Again, we see another, spawn dying there. Hunter's trying to find something too, but this tank is going to have to do absolute work, and I don't know, MK. Magnet's going to have to really, really, really sync with his team in order to get some kind of damage on the board.
Yeah, and not only this, but there's a thing they got to be careful here, Rails. I see this happen to Hikori. If the tank chooses to go over the fence on the left and try to get a second toy, but he's being pushed so hard right now. I cannot believe. Question by the Charger lands. That'll be his corner. He's down to 5K. How much will he have left on this hit cap? It's only 3 punches. One more. A down at 4,000. This is huge. He's trying to commit. Smoker misses. Jockey jumping around, trying to get Lewis. Lewis dodges the Jockey. The tank is missing. Oh, there goes the pole. Can he get the clear? He will. It'll be 2 downs. I think they'll be able to kill this tank here, Rails. But he's going to get out and try to prolong the best he can.
Yep, and this is kind of what I was alluding to just a second ago. Tank's going to come back in and is going to die, but we do see the in cap going out on to NF there. But, I mean, okay, the survivors know they have the momentum when it comes down to it. They have ping on their side as well, right? And for a team's experience, this Question Mark, doing a kind of push there, they're going to try to just get momentum and then hold it the entire game, honestly. That Hunter is going to get cleared. Nothing really following up because the Spitter also got picked, and yeah, this is kind of what you expect to see out of a team like Question Mark. They're going to be making the safe room as this Charger does go in and manages to land for just a second there. Jockey gets M2'd and shut down. Survivors slam the safe room door on the first map of No Mercy Rehab. That is going to be just about 796 points for them on that first map. And that's, like I said, it's kind of what I expected out of a team of their caliber.
Yeah, so did I. But one thing really quick here before we do jump over to the other side, Rails, I do have to say that we have officially hit our first milestone for the donation of RBT8. We have passed $711. And that also enters in the 24-hour stream of replay of RBT1 that I'll be hosting on my channel. And also, it was okayed by Kiss Me. He allowed it. And also, Kiss Me may be coming by to co-cast with you in an RBT8 match if he has the time. He confirmed it.
Oh, this would be very fun. So the thing about it is, okay, 24-hour replay of the first really big tournament. I mean, if we're actually doing that, which is a brilliant idea, I'm sure there's some faces that we might be able to talk to get back, but let's not take the attention away from this match that we've got in front of us here, because now the survivors are going to try to answer. Team Question Mark the best they can. It will be NF's tank much later through the map. First hit once again is the Charger, Jockey, Smoker, and the Spitter. Let's see exactly what the SI do. We saw the Charger land on the opening hit for the survivors. Let's see, because they're playing it very, very cautiously, which I kind of like. I haven't had a chance to see some of them play as much, so that Jockey's going to land. We are going to see the Spitter die before it does much of anything, but that is going to be the bulk of the damage coming out. Onto one survivor, down to 61 HP already, MK, and that was a decent first hit.
Yes, it was. Oh, but Lewis gets lost a little bit, but I do think without the spin blocking, they should be able to get down the fire escape without issue and into that room. So, oh, they're going to push the whole alley? Oh, this is big. Okay, they're going to slow down a little bit. I would have liked to see them go all the way here, Riz. I think they would have had it, but they're leaning on the side of caution due to their no green pings, which I can't argue with that either.
No, exactly. This is a situation where if teams don't know this map as well, I've seen them kind of get destroyed on that transition that the survivors just made, but let's see exactly what goes on now, because Boom does go out. That is going to be a quick double cap there, Left 4 Dead 1 style, with the spit also going down onto Bill, so that's, again, a decent amount of damage, MK, but like I said, it's not the kind of destruction from teams that either don't know the map or don't have cohesion, and so far, I don't know, the survivors could push it in the same way Question Mark did, or they could play it a little bit more classical and maybe try to back up around the ambulance or maybe around the truck in the front there. I honestly don't have that much personal No Mercy Rehab experience compared to some of the newer gen players, but I'm always excited to see it, especially from this perspective. And now NF's tank is up.
Look at the aggression. Oh, well, Rail's taken away. It's already in. All you.
Indeed it is, and this is going to be them committing the tank with the same kind of haste, and that's going to be one spawn dead as the tank is going to find his corner, so trading kind of 1-for-1 in the same way. Charter's going to go in, not really going to find much of anything, but now he does have the bit. Survivors have to be careful, but he does get the in-cap from the hittable. This is looking like it could almost be a wipe, however, the tank is down to 1200 HP, still needs to get those last two survivors down. I don't think he's going to get it quite as he wanted to, but again, aggressive play from Team Question Mark, this time on the SI side, and it does kind of pay out for them. They have more damage. There's the smoke going into delay the one pickup as Bill is clutching this just a little bit. But MK, what do you think of that? It's the aggression in the same way, and Question Mark, they're going to be leading going into map 2. You can't really argue about it.
No, I've never seen a Survivor team push the tank to the stairs before. They've always backed off. That's the first time, Rails, I've ever seen that come into play. And Monsters of Monsters Should Live kind of got away with almost getting wiped, so they're alive. I think that's fortunate for them, but the Hunter goes in for a scratch. Charge looking for a spawn. Probably no more damage comes out here unless maybe a scratch. Yeah, not going to happen. And they'll walk in with 268 bonus. I lied, 262. And Question Mark will have a slight lead. And this is going to be pretty crazy going into the later chapters. And we're going to have a slobber knocker on our hands here, Rails, and I'm hyped for it.
Indeed we are. I'll be back in one moment. Discord permissions, I've been fighting the entire first map, so I'm going to go win my mini match and then rejoin this.
All right. As we go into Chapter 2, oh my goodness, they're going to go live faster than we even get into the server. So, game is live. Roster rundowns were skipped first chapter due to the excitement. For Question Mark, we'll have Snipe, Stuff, NF, and Doom. And of course, for Monster Shall Live, Shang, Magnet, 1S, and of course, Peepee, who is one of the popular players coming out from the Asian community. And this team is also on the rise. I don't know if you're here with us yet, Rails, but Team PP made an entrance into the Bloodfest Cup, and they went 13-2 in their first tournament. Pretty good.
Yes, thank you for providing that context. I can say I can now have the video game and Discord open at the same time instead of having to alternate the windows partially tapped out. Not bad, honestly. But thank you for that context. I was going to ask. So in the stages of this tournament, right, who has more to lose? Is it Question Mark or is it their opposition?
Definitely Question Mark. They're a more seasoned team. PP's up and coming, but they do have Shang, who did play on Amagami. So there is a member that does have some tournament skill, or have some tournament, what's the word I'm looking for? Has just played in some tournaments before, experience, trying to help PP and them lead to maybe the first top 3 as they finish 4th place in their first tournament. Pretty good in my opinion.
I completely agree with that. So let's see exactly how it goes, because we do have Team Question Mark on the Survivor side. With that little bit of a lead, it honestly is not as much as I thought it was going to be. Charter's going to go and is going to whip. We're going to see the Smoker get a quick pull onto NF there. Obviously not the same NF as North American NF, and I'm sure there's a South American one or two at this point. Jockey's going to get a couple jerks and then get cleared. And actually, I thought I saw a ping discrepancy on the first map. Might have been my eyes playing tricks on me, because I think they might have either equalized it or something. But it is worth mentioning that Snipe on the side of Question Mark there also is a former member of G2. So we have some heavy competitive Left 4 Dead international competitive history here. And I'm excited to see how they play this map. Like I said, I don't have much experience on it myself. This area I know is a little bit difficult, though. We are going to see that spit land on to Bill, with one of the other pinners also getting clear at the same time, that being the smoker. Now the charger's going to go in, so instead of the charge spit, I was questioning that for a second, but the charger now lands, so more like a kind of like a spit charge, I guess, in game, because they managed to go at 2 different times. But as I said, I know this area is kind of notoriously hard for the SI to get much damage, and I mean, especially against a team like Question Mark, they're doing a good job mitigating it so far, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they're still at 12%, and I was saying this before, No Mercy Rehab is definitely infected-sided. It's a lot more easier for the infected to grab. Oh, they go for a Hunter Scratch. I don't think he made it. No, he did not. It was shut down. Probably going to be the tank. No, he's not. Interesting they went there, and the other SI didn't, so this is just going to let them wait another 11 seconds before they get a full hit, or they just send with 3, and they're just going to send with 3 because the tank is up, and the jockey is able to get a... No, they don't... Yeah, he does get a scratch, but they're going to spawn the tank and run back to safety, and Rails... This tank is pretty much taken in the same area as No Mercy 2 normal. It's just a little bit more advantageous for the survivors, in my opinion. So all the other tank fights in favor for the infected. This is the only one that goes survivor-sided.
Yeah, and I love the fact that obviously you have the depth of knowledge that you do, having helped, obviously, like, you were the engine behind No Mercy Rehab, essentially, right? So it's like, okay, that's one of the discrepancies that's important to note, because on map 2 of regular No Mercy, it's like you either fight it here, you can try to fight it forward, or you fight it downstairs. Same kind of thing. What are the main differences between No Mercy and this version of it for this fight?
If you see, when he comes through the train cart, it's just wide open area. The tank has nothing to climb in the middle, so it's literally the tank trying to corral a survivor or using a SI's life to get him that first corner. This is where the survivors have the best advantage to kite the tank around and try to dodge as many punches as possible. And it has happened in the past, and it has happened this week. Multiple tanks miss punches, but here it goes. It's going to be 1S's commit. He's down 800 at the top, hits the ground at 4,800. He's going to try to corral them over to the broken escalator. He does get his first punch at corner. He misses his second. The charger whips. Oh, the Hunter lands another punch. He'll take a rock punch onto Bill, lands it. Follow-up punch, charger, tag teaming. Oh, it's still almost 2 in caps. Great damage considering the tank was missing a couple of punches. Here's Rails. We'll do a damage evaluation on pickup. It'll be 87% bonus down to 57. That's pretty much just an average tank in my opinion. 30% damage.
Well, yeah, and this is going to be a slugfest of a game. That's what we can probably conclude from the first 3 halves, right? And like in that scenario, the only thing that could go better for the special infected is if that tank actually locked that corner. If he locks that corner and then for some reason one of the other SI lands or something, it could be even more than 2 in caps or something insane. But Question Mark are good enough to where they rebound with it. They're going to take a little bit of damage on that hit, with the spitter being, you know, the main source. But I, just based on what we saw in map 1 with how both teams are doing this, like I said, the momentum's on Question Mark's side, but it's still a very, very, very competitive game. And like I said, it can be the difference between cornering somebody or not that causes a wipe when you are losing the game in a match that's this tight.
I agree, but not only that, but look at how much bonus Question Mark has. This is over half the bonus on No Mercy 2, which is very impressive, and they're not on green ping. This is yellow and 1 red. So I think this is kind of a little bit above average for Question Mark. And they didn't sack into the quad. The Boomer died early, so they're going to get another tri-cap with Boom. And the damage output is just going to be very minimal here, Rail. It's going to be hard for them to find anything more than maybe 10% max here. And that's going to be even harder now with only a 1 boom coming out. See the value they could get. Here it comes. Charger rockets in. The jockey lands. The Charger has no chance. No DP. Just 3 damages on the pounce altogether. And they're walking with 52%. And a heck of a statement coming out from Question Mark on Chapter 2.
Well, yeah, they have 95% of the damage bonus. So whenever you have a, you know, essentially untouched damage bonus on zone mod or even back to the EQ days, this is what you get. And 1,072 points for them on map 2 here is crazy good, honestly, like I said, for any kind of match like this. And I don't know, the survivors, they're obviously the underdogs, but at the same point in time, like you said, they're an up-and-coming team. So what they should be looking to do here is just, like, don't get rattled with it, play their game, make sure that they know how to kill the tank in that area, which involved not getting early cornered, you know, force CSI to waste one of the spawns to get a corner, right? Like, that is, I don't know. They're the kind of team that I haven't seen as much, right? So I just want to kind of see, you know, what's going on in this game, allow that to speak for them when it comes to their gameplay, and if they can find a way to do that without getting multi-capped, they have a good chance of surviving it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But I think it's going to come down to how much pre-tank damage MSL is going to take, because I know that following question mark, every other tack will usually have a spitter in it. They'll always go 2-2 no matter what. They always went Charger Hunter, Jockey Spitter for every other tack, and they are known for this. And they're giving it, or they're getting it from the gate. So you're starting with the opening hit with the best spawns you can ask for. And let's see if they are not going to disappoint and find this. And there actually is a difference between the Survivor team here that I just noticed. They're only going 1 shotgun, 3 Uzi. So they're going to go for quick clears instead of shutting down attacks, because question mark went 2 and 2 rails. How do you feel about that, though?
Well, yeah, that's the classical, you know, and especially when you talked about, actually, I'll get to that in 1 second, because the shotgun has already, unfortunately for them, been pounced, and then the Charger's going to land and go right into the spit. Right as I was thinking it, it's like, you know, back in the day, what a lot of top-tier international teams did, and this is still kind of true, right, is that they ran the kind of 3-1. NV, for the RBT1 stream that you're talking about, you're going to see them be 3-1 practically the entire time when it comes down to it. So in today's game, obviously it's 10 or 11 years later, but a lot of teams, I think, still like the 3-1 just because it is so classical. You put the shotgun in position 1 or, God forbid, position 2, and then the other 3 have the chance, especially on ping, right, to shut down the other spawns and clear what they kind of have to while also focusing on the commons. Like, it doesn't shock me to see it, but in a situation like this, just because it's so easy to single out that shotgun, if he misses a skeet where this happens with a separation pull and a boom, you know, the damage just starts kind of piling on, and the SI have already done over 100 damage on what is essentially a Left 4 Dead 1 map. You see what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not going to have any big outcome right now, but they are just running past the commons, and due to the event being up in the front here, there's not going to be a consequence for this, but I'm not a fan. But the separation in between, oh, it's going to be almost disastrous for ML.
Wow.
They got so lucky that everything kind of missed there. They still take about 6%, but they can't leave the gaps in between there. Question mark will not misplay that at all, Rails. They're waiting for that opportunity.
Now listen, if your Uzis can do what we just saw there, though, it's like, okay, it is kind of reliant on the Uzi skeets, plus if your survivors can position super well, that's like when it's 3-1 at close range with silenced Uzis, it can also be just like the bane of the SI's existence, and it takes a good team to do that, but also good individual skill. Like, for example, okay, the Charger's going to die, a little bit of a pull going out for a couple ticks of damage onto Bill, but this is going to force Team Question Mark to really play the same caliber of tank, if not better, as Team MSL did, because their Survivor is still pretty much holding it together. Ping is somewhat of a factor. You got 1 player on red for both, plus it's orange, not green. So, you know, like I said, my hats are off to them just because they can balance things that well, but this entire chapter is going to come down to the tank.
Definitely is, and I don't think they'll get more chance for damage than this, and the Infected will hold. And back to what you were saying about Envy, back before the Pro Mod era, Envy was not a questionable option. They would go 4 Uzis when it was allowed, and they would melt tanks like crazy. They would get capped, but clear instantly, and accept that opportunity. But the Charger finds the Survivor separated, cannot find him alone. And they just wanted to try to do what they could before this tank is up. And here is tank number 2 for question mark. One of G2's finest, Snipe. And Lion's also on the roster. I believe he was a G2 member, just not participating today.
Yes, he was their captain back in like the RBT4 days and those kinds of things. Just longtime players. And Snipe, I mean, okay, classically here again, the idea is the tank gets the first down himself, and then you go in with the 3 cap, make it a 4-on-3, and just kill the other team. They could go for that, but if a multi-boom lands in this area as well, that could be, to quote casters of dates past, just detrimental to the Survivor's health. So they do have the Smoker, Jockey, and the Hunter for the Special Infected. Let's see exactly what they do. Jockey's going to die. Okay, so they're going to go for, they say either a Boomer or a Charger here is better. I don't know which you prefer, MK, but I'm thinking maybe actually a Boomer.
And especially, I mean, they do have a little bit mid to high ping. I can't argue with a Boomer, and it's kind of been the new normal this week. All the matches that we've been casting up until this point, they've been holding the Boomers for the commit, and it's led to some pretty devastating circumstances. A lot of wipes, but they're going to get the charge. Try cap. I did have the other tank, so we'll let you take this away as soon as he's ready, Rails. All you.
All right, well, Snipe is rolling in as we speak. Early pull does go out, and the tank does get a punch on it. That should be... Oh, he actually misses the second punch. I was going to say it should be the lock on to Bill, but it isn't. Survivor's doing a great job of kiting him around. Hunter's going to get Uzi skeeted too. This is huge. MK, this is what we call a little bit of a shift in momentum because Snipe did the best that he could, but he couldn't get that second follow-up. And what did I say? It was about that corner or not, and he was not able to get it in the same way that MSL wasn't able to secure it. But they actually took less damage on the side of Team MSL. They could be leading in this match. I am so glad to be here for this.
Yeah, that was a wild shutdown. Good job. The Uzi Skeet came out again. Nice job on that Survivor. I didn't see who got it, but if that Hunter lands, Rails, that's a free end cap. And if this, I take it back. They do the 3-1 setup, and it's working perfectly fine for them. The only time it missed was the opening attack when the Hunter landed. That was it. And now they have shut everything down with 68.3% bonus, and it looks like they're going to take the lead after this chapter.
That's crazy, and they still have 100% of their damage bonus. They have 727 bonus going into this last, like, desperation heave from the special infected on this. Let's see, because the Spit's already dead, and the Survivors are in. They're gonna be, wow, 1,884 points. They're going to be exactly, all right, here comes caster math, or lack thereof, right? Oh, you carry the 4, yeah. So they're going to be exactly 16 points ahead, and that's the kind of match that you live or die for at this. It is anyone's game. MK, their Survivor did what they needed to do on that hit, but as we mentioned, the Uzi Skeet by Zoe, I think is who it was, in the one train there, really prevented some kind of separation, you know, from working in that favor. The early pull can be great when you can get the corner like that, but Snipe just punched him, they tried to punch him again. I would have done the same thing if I were him, because it looked like he had the lock, you know what I mean? But then the Survivor just got away from him, and sometimes that happens in those kind of situations, because then your tank is just stuck in the middle of 4 Survivors who can move. And that's when those Uzis are going to eat him alive, as you know.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shutdown on, but oh my goodness, Rails, look at this. This is an 85% tank. I've never seen it this late on this map. I am really curious. This tank is usually ran back to right around where the gas station is, the pump and run, or they'll go inside the Hirsch building where you can take the top and kind of run the tank around in the circle, but you leave spawns open above you on top of the railing, and multi-charge is an instant in cap, so this is going to be very dangerous for the Survivors, and I am hyped to see what will happen. Another opening attack, 2-2, 100 Jockey. Munchers to live, first lead of the game. See how they can take this opening attack.
Now they have the 2-2 rolling, I'm pretty sure, with Lewis and Zoe being the shotguns, which, like I said, hey, if it works for them, it works for them, but especially on this first hit, it's a very close area. We have the 2-2 that we mentioned. Hunter is going to try to go in at the same time as the Jockey. They're double teaming Zoe, and they do manage to land. The Boomer stumbles her, though, and she manages to get out of spit before any major damage goes out. I will say, though, I mean, not quite 40 damage per hit, because that was, you know, another old name that I'm going to mention here would be Dragon the caster, right? He was always like, oh, if you get 40 damage a hit or something like that, then that's usually pretty decent. On this, though, I mean, Survivors didn't really, you know, separate, didn't screw up. Like I said, not expecting them to, but the Spitter did go in a little bit early here, I think. Now the Charger's going to go in instead, and is going to land. I don't know how the mental is right now for Team MK, but I'm going to mention it just because that was a little unorthodox for a reason that I can't understand.
I have the feeling they don't want the 2-2 in this area. If they get into the diner, I think I know what he was trying to do, but
yeah, something's up with that. I don't know what that was. Don't usually see the Spitter go in 11 seconds before your pinners.
Yeah, it is impossible to get damage in here. I'll be shocked if they get anything. Spit goes in. The Spit, they're not dying in order. Okay, they do, but they're not going to have a Hunter. And actually big damage, Rails. Look at how much that was.
Yeah, they needed to reset on the SI side after whatever that was, and they managed to, because Zoe, he was trapped behind the bar, and the spitball landed like next to her feet, so she tried to move to the right and the left, but she still couldn't get out, and then it spread on top of the counter, and she ended up taking, what, like 50, 60 damage on that. Now the SI have a little bit of that momentum back, and they just need to keep hitting as a team.
Yeah, I cannot believe that they found it inside here. It's very rare to see damage come out. They're going to try it again. Charger doesn't find a target, but he's swimming in the Spit too. Magnet doesn't lose as much, but still the damage seeps through. That's 20% down with 3 hits, Rails. Or 4, actually. I take it back, because that rushed hit out the second one.
Yeah, no, I mean, you said it. It happened in the exact same way it did on the first spit at the bar, but it's just like, the survivors just need to literally not think about how close the game is if they can, and they need to just keep going forward, because when you have a tank that's at 85% on any map, right, it comes down to, is the SI going to hit better without a tank, and for which team is it going to actually go better? Right now, Team Question Mark is putting on a clinic. You have the pound spit in the front plus the double charge in the back. Goes just being absolutely spammed in infected chat, and I think they realize now they have a chance to work on that damage bonus beforehand. And MK, they still have over 40% of the map before the tank to deal with. If I'm MSL, it's a mixed review for me. You know what I mean? Because you have one survivor bleeding already, and you have to get through that much more before the tank.
Yeah, and we're going to have a sewer tank. This is going to be fought in the bottom. It's a little bit different than regular No Mercy, but still very advantageous for the infected, in my opinion. This choke point's a little bit easier. It is not a one-way drop, but it is still a ladder drop. And if you know Left 4 Dead, ladder choke points are what the infected thrive on, especially when you're going down compared to up, because you can shoot on the ladder now, which changes a lot of the ladder choke points, like Dark Heartival 2. A lot of them are taken a little bit differently now, Rails. And they're going to go with a boom on the top. That's a triple. They're going to come up and get them, but with no spit, they're just going to be patient and probably drag this out as long as possible to see if stuff gets a spitter.
Yeah, if you're the survivors here, you're between a rock and a hard place on pings. You either have to push through the horde that's coming now to get the fight with 3 spawns, or you have to sit here and wait, because now the SI are going to have either a quad or a spitter. It's going to be a spitter for the damage as well, so okay, it's like trying to drop into a multi-cap is just something that survivors never do, and now they have to deal with this. It's as if Zoe didn't go down, but then the charger actually is not going to land. The hunter lands instead, because when they baited it before, that got the charger to pre-spawn, and honestly, the survivors don't take a massive amount of damage there, so the patience does pay off, MK.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed that there was not one hit, except for that last one, where they have not had a spitter. They had one every single attack. That's how disciplined Question Mark is, to make sure there's always a spitter, even with a 2-2, because they want to maximize their value as much as possible. And the boomer will pop. This will be their last chance, but spitter's pre-spawning. Can Hunter land? Will they get another pound spit before they spawn this tank is the question. Smoke pull, and they do it! Another one, Rails! What a clinic is coming on here, just like you were saying. That is almost 40% down, and now it's going to be tank time. And the second time they won't have a spitter. This is just, take some notes, in my opinion, and this is how you get the best value.
Well, yeah, I mean, this tank here, I've seen it go so poorly for both sides, honestly, depending on what the teams do, which is a blase statement. You could apply it to any tank, but really, though, this one, if you rely on a pull early and then the survivors can kite you, the SI can get shut down. They're gonna land a charge boom jock here for a hot second, with the boomer getting a couple of scratches, and it's actually almost a triple cap because nobody cleared that hunter below until now. That's another great hit, honestly. Left 4 Dead 1, Left 4 Dead 2 mixed style coming out from Team Question Mark, but the point that I was making about the tank is, if somebody does get early cornered there and then the SI have a chance to go in, it can be a wipe, or the survivors can just completely shut that tank down by just staying away from him, because there's so much area where they can fight it. Like, they have the choice to either stay on the one pillar in the center here, they can put a couple people in the back. You see, it's such a deceptively open area, especially for teams that are good on the survivor side. I don't know, it's going to be close, MK, because these SI pinners are going to have to do something, and the momentum is on Team Question Mark's side at the moment, but they still are fighting the fact that it's an open area, and they decide to kill the smoker. How intriguing is that?
Yeah, I don't think they liked where he was. He couldn't despawn. I don't think they wanted him pre-spawn, but they're going to pose a risk of this being a boomer.
I really like smoker here. I can't lie. On SI side, I really like smoker.
Yeah, I like it. It's too open. It's going to be... They can literally just run him around in circles, but he's going to have to roll it in with this tri-cap. He has no choice. He'll probably let him bleed to about 30%, maybe 25%. And he has a lot of survivors, less than 3 punches. This is very convenient for him, but can he corral somebody? He's in. He's going to drop down. He's going to need help right now. There's his corner. He got his corner. He throws a rock to guarantee it. There's one punch, or one hit. Second punch, 3,400. In cap at 2,500. Now it'll be challenging to find anything. But Bill takes a bad corner. He gets Bill. Can he get another? He gets another one. And another. The charger is dead. I believe this will be all that stuff can get. But the DP has been exhausted. And he'll be happy with that. And I think he'll probably just go in and die.
Yeah, I mean,
He should just die now. One more punch, maybe? Oh, so close.
very, very good tank from Team Question Mark. We saw Left 4 Dead 2 physics at play because the survivor got knocked literally upwards, right? Because of that, like, incline there. It's like he would have had that corner a couple split seconds earlier, then he might have been able to get one more punch off that. But now we have two people permanently slow. MK, the damage bonus is at 0%. And I've seen teams wipe in the alley that comes up ahead just because there are so many rocket spawn. I don't know. I think that it's going to be an uphill battle for the survivors at the moment. That's going to be another pound spit landing with the jockey going in. Every single hit for Question Mark just getting great value, as you mentioned. And that's going to put the real pressure on Team MSL's Special Infected to match that kind of performance and to keep the kind of lead that they have, because Team Question Mark are gunning for it from behind.
Yeah, and I mean, just look at how well, again, Question Mark, just keeping these spitters. Every single attack almost, they won them all the time. Not only because you get the damage, but you can delay. Oh my goodness, that's a double charge. He spits on the guy not charged, and it doesn't spread in his favor. It was a good call to do so because the in-cap already went out. But I think Zoe being 1 HP is going to be a hurt on their team. They should just down her now. Otherwise, they're going to take another hit before they make safe room, and they're not going to do it. So, one more hit coming in no matter what, Rails.
There you go. Now they choose to in-cap her as the hunter's kind of bouncing around in the sky. Now, sometimes the survivors like nick the infected, waste a spawn to get the in-cap, and other times the survivors preemptively do this just to make sure that they don't get got by the entire hit. The one problem for them, though, on Survivor's side now is that Zoe is black and white, so the SI could decide to just go for the kill and cut whatever bonus is left. It's really 10%, right? But 10% health bonus, not 10% overall bonus. It's literally 92 points. But this, again, heavily favors the SI. It looks as though they have a great chance at stopping the survivors from even getting full distance, depending on what happens. And with how low they are, if anybody just scratches Sheng, that's a free in-cap as well for the rest of this hit. And they do have the quad charger, Smoker, Hunter, Jockey going in, and the Hunter DP kills Zoe. That's insane. As the smoke lands, we see the other in-cap go out, as I mentioned, and the charger is going to go in there, and he's going to absolutely wrap this up in favor of Team Question Mark. And that's what I mean, MK was a dealer's choice of wrong answers only for the survivors there, and that DP killed one as the wipe went out. They finish on survivor side with 562 points, and this does open the door for the comeback from Team Question Mark.
Absolutely, and you know the rules on the stream. If a 25 lands, a raffle starts. So there's the raffle. Hit exclamation join to get some free common infected. And not only was it a 25, but it was a 25 kill. And look at that, an 8-second ready up. Opening attack also going to be the 2-2, same as the other side. Boomer Hunter ready to go, and now Question Mark has the door open to take a ginormous lead on this chapter. As long as they can take this tank well and a couple of special infected attacks. Let's see how much they can take the opening attack with. As they're ready to go. Hunter not going. Okay, eventually gets skeeted. Jockey melted, and Question Mark less than a percentile worth. And they are ready to go, Rails.
Well, yeah, and I don't really think, like, honestly, the story of last map or the game so far has been Question Mark Survivor, like, mistakes or anything. I think they legit just took more damage on one tank, and now they have a chance to really flex their skill and, like, all that on the Survivor side by either getting those kind of shutdowns. They've taken absolutely no damage, and they're just probably not going to do the same thing that the other team did in terms of having one person stuck behind that bar area. We do have a hit going in now. That is going to be a skeet going out. Jockey is going to land for a little bit of damage, and the pull two, so a brief 2-cap to get something on the board for Team MSL, but the survivors have already started the event. They're going to move back here, and like I said, the rule is going to be do not get stuck on the props.
Yeah, and there's kind of a meta here that's not being taken advantage of in my opinion here, Rails, and I'm going to call this out. After the next attack goes in quick, it's going to be a 2-2. The quad attack failed, so they're going to have to go with a 2-2. Let's see if they try to go quad again. I don't think it's the right call, but the Charger looking for something inside, not going to get it. Here comes the Hunter. Oh, he gets stuck in the door. They pre-spit. Oh, they're swimming in it. Oh, they get good value from it, Rails. Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
But
that's exactly what I was talking about, because over there by the booths, right, and you know this because you made the thing, but also for those watching, it's like you see those lamps on the ceiling, those really aren't that translucent as they might appear when you're watching, and when you stand between two booths, the survivor gets a little caught in a corner, and that's how they took a boatload of damage actually from that one spit, because they get pinned and they get stuck there, and there's no spit discrepancy of, you know, oh, something's off the ground, it's not going to count here. That doesn't happen on this map. So without a spitter, they get a couple ticks of damage from that hit going in. Smoker died last, I believe, so that should give them a pretty decent hit. But MK, once again, we have one survivor already committing kills. Snipe wasn't bleeding as the other team was, but again, just a little bit more damage than I think they would have liked to have seen on survivor side. And, you know, it's just not getting caught in areas that are really boxy and weird, and that's just a Left 4 Dead 2 thing.
Yeah, and now if you see where the survivors are now, if you took note, when they don't have a spitter, when the attack's down, I do believe transitioning in here is better during the event. If you see where they're at, Rails, nothing can really happen in here if there's no spit. So I just think there's a meta being left on the wall that the teams are missing. And of course, it's a lot easier for us to catch it when we're in the casting chair above watching them play. But it's just my opinion. I could be wrong in the circumstances. But they'll go in for a hit now. Jockey shut down, Charger land. Spit goes on the wrong survivor but gets a few free picks onto Lewis. And down to 76.4. The damage is still sneaking through, Rails.
Yeah, the special infected for MSL is playing decently well at this point. Just the only thing that I can envision happening with this tank coming up is somehow, like, I want to call it Survivor's G2, but I shouldn't. It's one of those where question mark can just shut down the spawns, right? If those auxiliary pinners like the Hunter, the Jockey, or something like that, right, get shut down when they're going for a corner for the tank, that, in my opinion, is the worst case scenario. Because then not only does the tank not have a corner, right, it's like you then lose one of your 3 spawns, and you even commit a tank with 6k HP and only 2 spawns up, that seems like just like something that can never happen, at least how it was over the course of the game's history. So it's like they have to make sure that those pinners land if they go for something like that, and the players who team question mark are good enough to where each one of them can shut down a spawn going to cap them for a tank. So I'm very interested to see exactly how they call it. Before that happens, however, though, we do have a pounce landing on NF as he drops down the ladder choke. Jockey is going to land following up on that for a hot second. Smoker is already dead, and MK, it really does come down to the tank once again.
Yeah, I think it really hurt. And this is one difference that we're seeing on each side. Monster Shall Live is not stacking to make sure there's always a spitter. And that hit is where you desperately needed it, in my opinion. There was no threat until the one spawn was shut down, and they don't take pretty much any damage. So that was just something that I was noticing on both sides. So I think question mark's discipline on sack rotation is a little bit better. But now they're going to have to prove to us if they could take the tank better. And there will be a smoker for the other side because they have a 2-2 Charger Hunter, which I think is the best 2-2 for a ladder choke point, Rails. I don't know if you agree, but
yeah,
this is the best.
You can do mammoth damage here. For some reason, this actually reminds me of T-Tor ahead. As that happens, though, the Charger lands, the Spitter lands, and then the Hunter lands all onto Zoe. That is some good damage from that hit. You can just see the health melting away in the spit puddle there. That's going to force 2 kills to be committed, MK, prior to that tank's commit, just so they can be fast. I don't know, Monster Shall Live showing on the special infected side of things how evenly matched this has been, and the survivors are going to go back downstairs because the tank is now up into the hands of their player, who is just their team tag, which I think is amazing. Yeah,
that is PP himself. He has a habit of not putting his name up. He just tags up with whatever the team name is. It seems to be a habit from him, and he is their leader. I've talked to ABP about it. They're an up-and-coming team. They want to play as much as possible. They're definitely probably top 5 from Asia right now. Of course, Envy, probably one of the top ones. And for RBT8, Rails, I know that they are all playing. But I do believe it'll be Mingoose instead of Envy due to some of the member changes. But so we will see them playing. Kimchi's been practicing with Presto and a couple of them. But this is going to be the tanks commit. And they have the smoker here. I'm anxious to see if he's going to be able to get the pole down and get him a corner. Or will question mark be able to shut this down? And here is his commit. 45% frustration. I don't know what he's waiting for. Okay, here he goes. 47 up. Wow. Down 2K. 3,500 already. And the Hunter lands. There's his corner. One punch onto NF. Second punch onto NF. In cap at 1,500. Now he's got to try to get his next corner. Smoker misses. And he's going to die. Oh, the Smoker grabs. But I don't think the tank's going to get nothing else. No, he won't, and that's a good shutdown.
He almost had that punch onto Zoe. That would have been ridiculous because he jumped closer to her while swinging to try to close the gap, and it almost worked. But even though they got beaten up a little bit, question mark on Survivor, they still have 525 bonus, 95% of the damage bonus, now 94 because a little bit of friendly fire, but they're looking to take the lead once again on Survivor side and then just play map 4 out with the lead and hopefully win the game. But the SI, like I said, they need to just keep hitting as a squad and try to ignore the fact that the tanks went a little bit differently. That's a great skeep, though, coming out from the Survivor side. Spit's going to go down. They do have a boomer still up, but MK, I don't even know if they have time for another hit, and that just shows that Question Mark is willing to roll with the punches. The only thing that could have happened on that other tank fight is we kind of talked about the Smoker being a little far away from the Survivors, and that's exactly what happened on the Survivor side there. I mean, they had to use the Hunter to hit NF to get the corner, so there's 2 of your 3 spawns neutralized in an open room. That's how you can see the tale of 2 sides go, because, you know, the Survivors still have a pretty decent amount of their bonus, and they're going to be leading this, barring some insane hit here, which just isn't going to happen.
Oh! He got banned, bro.
Yeah, he did. He got absolutely just destroyed out of the air, and that's how you can very sneakily take a 500-point lead by, like I said, simply just rolling with what was happening there. That's a great chapter from Team Question Mark, and I'm assuming we're playing 1 through 5, or is it 1 through 4?
This tournament is always 1 through 5, unless, of course, the lower team doesn't think they have an opportunity. They can always GG if they choose, obviously, but we've seen every rehab game that I've casted, it always went to Chapter 5 due to the fact that the early tank is not quite as difficult to take rails, and it is also still worth 800 distance because of a second tank. So people won't just GG as quickly, because if you can find that early wipe, the first team will only get like 40 points, and they die if they get an early wipe. So it makes sense to go at least to there. And if they make it to the second tank, the first team, and you're down a couple hundred, then it starts getting to the question, do we even have a chance to do this? You know, because it's hard to bounce back when you have 2 tanks to deal with. I don't care who you're playing. It's hard to kill 2 tanks.
And this tank being at the top of the elevator, I believe it is, right? This is going to be... I don't know, I feel like it kind of does favor the Survivors just a bit because they're this far ahead, but that's going to be a Charger landing with a pound. Smoker is also going to get a quick pull onto NF there. The Jockey's going to die, but this Infected actually did a decent amount of damage there for not having a classic charge spit hit, so... As I was saying, like, top of the elevator tank here, because it's a few 100-point game, it's not like it's a complete blowout. If the Survivors manage to die there, right, that puts Team MSL in a great position to swing back the other way. We've already seen a couple lead changes in this game, chapter to chapter. But the Survivors got to keep playing their game, keep shutting down the pinners like the Hunter and the Jockey if they can. And there's a good example of that. Boomer is going to land. Charge Spit is still in the queue for the SI, hasn't quite gone in yet. Now it is going to whip onto Zoe. And I don't know, MK, that was a pretty uninspired SI hit, I have to say.
Yeah, the sack order was also not the greatest, and now they're not going to have great spawns. I believe that, I know you might not like the saying, but I think they're going to have a poo too with the Smoker and the Jockey Boomer Spit combo, and that's the least value you can get on a map. Oh, I was wrong. Never mind. It's going to be a Hunter, so they did get a little bit of a bailout here. But they really need to land this pound spit and have a jock separation, because the second hit didn't get anything.
But yeah, and this is one of those where the Survivors have to wait it out, but at the same point in time, it's notoriously Survivor-sided on both regular No Mercy and this map, just because it's like you stand in a room, all the SI have to come from one direction, and the Horde runs out after... what, like a minute and a half or 2 or something. They're going to go into this room, however, and they are going to get pound spit, jockeyed, and pulled at the same time, literally, for a bit more damage coming out. So, again, decent hit kind of going in there, but everything also cleared as quickly as you expect it to be, and now the Survivor's going to get to where they really want to go, MK, which is, for them, going to be this room on the side.
Yeah, I like this one a little better, but it's just harder to get to when spawns are up, and they didn't want to chance it, especially with the Venti in there next to them. And this will be the only hit they get before the event, before the elevator opens. So they want to go with commons. They should go quickly. Hunter pouncing around. Charger. Oh, this is pretty big. Oh, in the spit. Oh no, rails. This is big damage. Actually, it's not as much as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, if that spit had landed onto Zoe, it would have been like an end cap.
Oh my goodness. But look at them, all half HP. And one thing quick to note before they jump on here, rails. I don't think they're going to get another attack. At the top of this elevator, this tank fight is also very Survivor-sided. They're going to need someone to get them a corner, or else you're at risk of having this tank down to 1,700 health before they even get a corner.
Well, and that's one of the biggest changes in the meta, I think, if we're talking, like, from 2011 times all the way through now, over 14, 15 years. It's like, dude, you've got the tank that has to get the corner on his own, right? Versus the amount of times that I've seen just in the past, even 4 or 5 years, like a pinner be the one to set the tank up because there's no more tank slowdown, but the survivors can just annihilate a tank if they focus it, right? Like, in an area like this, I would almost say, hey, listen, even if we're going in when the tank has like 1k or 1.5k, the tank needs to get the corner on his own, because if Question Mark survives this on the survivor side, they're going to be able to make the safe room with at least the distance bonus, and they're already ahead by like 400, right? So if I'm the SI, I'm saying, hey, kind of do or die. Let's make sure that we actually kill them, and we need everybody to land, like, in order to make it some kind of frag movie highlight. You don't want to be in that position, but they almost have to have that happen right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think there's also the depth charge possibility, but no smoker to make it happen. They don't pick the spitter there. They had time, but they wanted to get the clear. So they'll take 35% bonus away from Question Mark before commit, and I think everybody's eating their pills but NF when he gets in there. And it is Shang's tank, former member of Amagami, coming in here to try to clean up Question Mark, to give their team an opportunity to bounce back. Question is, are they going to be able to do it to Question Mark, or will Question Mark be able to survive? Uh-oh. He's got to be careful here, Rails. The tank, if he does a strafe jump on the side, he's got to pay attention, because there's railings on some of the windows. He's got to be careful. There's only one he can strafe jump through.
I'm sure he knows where it is. The boomer does get popped. They have a smoker and a charger. I mean, the strafe jump is classic. This map is one of the examples. The other one's carried off map 4, right? But realistically speaking, like, Sheng has the experience of playing on Amagami, which is another huge team from the, like, Eastern scene back in the day. And, like, if I'm him, he has, what, 200 some ping? Like, he could actually get that early corner that I was talking about, just because if he gets one survivor in a slot where he can get the first punch and then follow it up, you know, that would work for him. But he's going to actually avoid the strafe jump. He's going to play it more just regularly. Still has 4,400 HP. Now he's close enough, but he has to be careful because he's getting kited around the generator. He's down to 1,500. This is not going to be the wipe that they were looking for. Punch does go out. Charge does go in. Another punch lands. He's pushing the survivors around, but now he's just spreading damage, and he is going to die. It's a good amount of damage there, MK, but man, he was down to 1,500 HP, and he had gotten nothing so far.
Yeah, that's just like you were saying, you know, let him get his own corner, but if he fails to get his corner, the SI got to frantically get in there quickly, and they do get a little bit of value, but just was it about 25%. A really lackluster tank at best, not by their decision, but just great job from fighting. And they're going to go fast here for another attack. Hunter, oh, what a double cap in the spit! The jockey is not cleared either. The combo is big, and they follow up with double-digit damage, taking them down to 305. But still, if Question Mark walks in with any bonus here, Rails, it is going to be very difficult for Munster Shall Live to try to mount a comeback, because they're going to beat whatever they have by a couple hundred.
That was a brilliant double cap. Like, when you saw the way the SI were moving there, the jockey and the hunter, that was absolutely incredible. But as you said, there still is 300 bonus on the board here. It is a charge spit hit with a hunter and a smoker too. Hit is going to go in. Charger is not going to land though onto NF, who's playing that first position shoddy. Former member of Fear Factory as well. They do manage to knock about 100 off though, because guess what? The health bonus is down to 1%. So just damage bonus for Team Question Mark. They do make the safe room, however. 3,752 points. Definitely an achievable comeback still for Team MSL. It might look like a large delta, but remember, there's still 3 halves to go, including 2 survivor sides for Team MSL, so long as they're playing 1 through 5. You know, if they manage to do the same thing, we saw the tank get shut down essentially there. It was able to get some kind of damage and spread it decently well enough, but, you know, like I said, it's still kind of anybody's game. What we can't see happen is MSL to get so rattled, MK, that they just forget how to play, you know, positional survivor.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's going to come down, just like you were saying, it's always going to come down to tank. But I'm really curious to see if they do 2 shotguns this time, because it's closer, and they're going to. Oh, they eat the charge, but there's no spitter combo. Good sack order though, as it'll be Hunter, Charger, Jockey, Spitter next hit, a staple of Question Marks every other rotation. And I like to say one of the first teams I saw do that very consistently, Rails, was Aqualex. Almost every other attack would be a hunt, jock, boom, or spitter,
Yeah.
and a hunter. So
I've been talking to Discreet recently in his Twitch chat, and I think the one thing that he said is that he doesn't expect them to reunite for the next RBT, but as we get closer and as the donation keeps building, thank you to everybody who's donated to that so far. You know, I'm hoping to see the best in the world from everywhere in that tournament without any kind of prejudice. So that is a nice attack going in onto Team MSL from Team Question Mark right there. And once again, you live by the prop, you die by the prop. MK, that picture just saved them 100 bonus.
yes, it did, and it puts them down to the perfect score. 90.9 is perfect. That's what the points are without your pill bonus. So we try to call that like the perfect chapter rails. If you walk into the save room with 90.9 plus, that is pretty much the best you could do, because it's impossible to not take anything. That will never happen unless the hunters get melted like that. Smoker finds nothing. Jockey gets a little bit of damage, and Question Mark's having a hard time finding a home on these cappers and spit combos rails. There's not a lot of damage coming out.
Okay, so next hit it's going to be no jockey, no boomer. So it's going to be a charger, hunter, smoker, and a spitter. I mean, the smoker here isn't like amazing. I would prefer to have the room 3 cap, right? But you know, they need to just get a hit that does some kind of damage. Like, even if you have to pin somebody twice or charge stumble off the wall, you know, the SI just need to get more damage on this. Smoker is going to land, Hunter's going to land too, but the spit goes towards 2 survivors who are not involved in it. Now the charger lands, and now the Smoker's going to get a little bit more damage. So, okay, that's decent, honestly, coming out, but once again, biggest part of that was that the charge spit didn't land. They kept the spitter, and the spitter is going to be recharged actually by the time the survivors get to the elevator. So it's going to get a little bit, well, actually was looking for a little bit more spit damage, but the survivors smartly just kind of dodged it. Lewis is going to take kills now before getting into the elevator, which I find interesting. Maybe there's an extra set. Jockey going in, but this is just some hectic action here, MK, and the survivors, to their credit, have not lost a step as the SI decide to get rid of that. I think that was a boomer that Snipe killed, but either way, mad props. Spec that shit out.
Yeah, and for those that are asking, yes, we do have more matches set for today. There's about 4 of them. The next one will be at 1:30 in the afternoon. I don't believe the one at 11 a.m. is going to happen. Then we'll have one at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so there'll be more action. And we also have the winner bracket, Game 3. We're still waiting to be scheduled between Team Impact and Hikori. They both went 1-1, and both games were less than 40 points, Rails. It was absolutely insane, and I am hyped to watch the end of that as soon as it's available.
Oh, yeah. That's the best you can hope for, honestly. Spit's going to go down as the pre-spit here. Charger's going to land with the... That was weird. It looked like the Charger and the Hunter both actually landed, and the Spit's invisible. So now you can see it a little bit more as the elevator resets, but we've been saying it all game. It is a cliche in competitive Left 4 Dead 2, but the tank is literally everything. It's going to be up in the hands of Doom, 14 question mark, player that I don't know as well as the rest of his team, but hey, they've made it as far as they have as a team and multiple tournaments, and in this particular circumstance, they need to kind of help their tank out. First step for the survivors, though, is don't get boomed, and they are going to get double boomed. Oh, that's huge, MK.
It is massive. He just got to make the strafe jump, and Doom is good. And Doom is in. He makes it. He breaks the door. He's going in. He misses his first punch. 4,200 health. There's his first punch. 4,000. He misses another one. Goes for Bill. Oh, he leaves the Hunter. Hunter takes him. This is huge. The cappers are coming. Oh, the jockey covers. Rails, this might be a wipe if the last survivor doesn't get it. The jockey is riding. They're going to have no bonus if they manage to survive. The tank is so healthy, and this is a wipe. And we might see the GGs come out here. Let's see. 28 to 37, 52, and we're going map 5. They want a chance.
Well, yeah, I mean, they got double boomed, and that's why we talked about all this other stuff about multi-cabs, early corners, you know, but the big difference is question mark knew that strafe jump like the back of their hand. Doom just literally went, I don't even know if they, like, obviously they've played it at some point before, but there was no question like, oh no, you know, if I don't do this the right way, the tank's going to die. Like, no, they were right in on that double boom, and that's the best you could have, like, hope for in that area. The only thing that could have saved the survivors there is if Zoe somehow got away and they managed to kill more of the horde, but that's a lot to ask for on anything that's not green ping in a close area on a custom map, so kudos to the SI for just taking advantage of that, and that double boom was hit by NF. He managed to make that play, so anytime you have a boom in a closed area, it's usually disaster for the survivors, and you know, I accidentally jinxed it because I meant to say, okay, double boom, and then they actually did get double cap because that Hunter was a little bit separated just enough, too, for the jockey to follow up, and I don't know. You can't ask for a better SI round when it comes down to it, and in order for this game to go any other way. You said there's 2 tanks, correct? Is one of them right at the safe room, or is it on the helipad?
Oh no, it'll spawn before they get to the top. I think they have to go around 3 turns and then it'll spawn. But if you see the big room at the top of the stairs, it might look very advantageous. But while you go to the top stair and you go completely straight past the boxes, there's actually a hole in the wall there, and the tank can burst right through there. So that is actually not the greatest room to stay in. You'll see the survivors probably have some in the hallway and shoot them and retreat back to the safe room area. But there's a lot more wide area now, if you can see, in the hallway going down. So it's not quite as easy for the infected to get in there. Gives a little bit more space for the survivors. And that wall is bangable as well, and where that door is on the top. And we saw tanks lose about 1,000 if they just sit at the end of that hall. So they got to be mindful of not being pre-chipped as well. So, a lot of things to pay attention to here from both sides. And map knowledge too, Rails. They got to know that too.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of why, I mean, there's still a chance for a comeback, obviously, for Team MSL, but let's see here, because that's going to be the Hunter landing. You're going to have a spit fall. There's the charge stumble that I was alluding to last time, and the jockey lands. Oh, that's a stupid. Actually, you know what? I can feel 2 ways about that at the same time. One, that's way more damage than the survivors would have liked, but honestly, MK, I thought it was going to be worse than that when I saw the jockey land with that stumble.
Yeah, I thought it was too. They lucked out, but NF is the one who's going to be the target, in my opinion. He might have to pop pills just to guarantee that he's not a quick 3-punch in cap. I would rather just eat my pills early with the lead you have, make sure you survive, because it's a distance game night now with the lead that they have. I don't think it's a matter of making it to the safe room.
Hey, you need to kill them.
If you're the survivor team, you make this. I think they got the game in the bag.
If they kill this tank, I think the survivors win unless they get, like, death charge or something else completely insane. The special infected need to kill them, which is, I think, why they actually sacked the boomer, because it's like, hey, you know, why wouldn't they try to do the same thing that the other team did last map and just get a multi-boom in a closed area? They need to land a corner and a tri-cap in a space like this, because the survivors have the ability to, like, blanket some of the close spawns in this, and it's not the same kind of, like, oh, you know, they're running from one spot to another. They have the position that they want, but the tank has the corner that he wants as well. That's going to be stuffed, eating the corner first, and they are not going to send the SI in yet. Now they have the corner. That skeet was absolutely insane from NF, but the problem is that we do have a charger landing and another corner going out. Phil is going to get the clear now, but the tank is still running around. He didn't down Zoe, however, so now he's going to get the down onto NF instead. He has 100 HP left. MK, it's a tremendous amount of damage. It's not the wipe, and that skeet could have clutched it, honestly, but I'm also kind of questioning. Oh, now he gets the in-cap onto Zoe. I was wondering why he didn't down them originally, maybe because he wanted to go for NF instead. That boomer somehow doesn't land, and that's a dead tank, so it's a tremendous amount of damage. Can't take anything away from Team MSL, but it's not the wipe that the SI were looking for. So the second tank spawns at what, like 400 points, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a while. They're going to get another, I believe it's 512 points that they're going to get additionally before the tank. So they need to go quad every other try, or their tournament, or not their tournament life, but they're going to get their second L in this tournament. Or, like you said, a death charge, but they don't have the spawns for that right now.
No, and the skeets are coming out now from multiple survivors. It was NF and now also Stuff getting the 1-click or 2-click on that Hunter. Spit's going to go into, yeah, no, it's not the hit that they were looking for on the SI side, but honestly the only reason for that is because that charger landed a little bit late, almost got him the wipe, but they don't have the chance to do that, and let's see, because the ask is getting more and more improbable, you know, as we keep moving on here, but the score difference is going to be what? If we add another 300 onto this, like what, 1,400 points at best if the second tank wipes or something like that, right?
Yeah, at best. And they get pills too, Rails, so unless they get quadded, they're making it to this tank.
Yeah, Hunter's going to go and is going to land. Little desynchronized there, I would say. Charger does land, however, on that side just because they managed to go for the 2-cap instead. Now they're going to get a little bit more of a favorable spawn, and you know what? Because of the hit on Zoe too, she's going to have to pop, and now Lewis is also going to have to pop if they want to stay fast. So they're going through those pills in short order, MK, because of the 3 in-caps on the first tank, but you already have to think this takes all the pressure off of question mark special infected after their survivor round is over, and that is how players at this level think, where it's like, okay, you know, we're locked in on what's happening at this moment, but in the back of your head, you're also thinking, like, all right, I don't suddenly have to play like I'm ahead only by 800 or 900. I have more room to work, which allows them to do stuff like that. They're just shutting down some of these cappers before they even get close. The smoker's the only thing that really lands.
Yeah, and I mean, I was going to call a misplay that was coming out here by question mark, but it didn't really matter because the spawns were melted. Usually when we see a quad come in here, you'll see the survivors jump into a small, confined area just to try to avoid letting the smoker grab the last survivor so they can clear it up. And they just stay out in the open and melt everything down. So it was almost like they did so. The smoker, the only thing that landed, Charger, Jockey, Hunter melted. And now since that quad was thwarted, the 2-2 comes in. They hit the halfway point at the Horde. Hunter coming up, but he doesn't pounce or have his pounce at the top of the ladder and gets blasted out of the sky. Double boom proxy, and they're going to go with quad try again before tank. But they have already accumulated 432 points, Rails, and it's still climbing.
Well, yeah, and you said it's going to spawn around like 512, right? Which is pretty typical when there's an early tank on a finale map like this, whether it's this map, whether it's normal No Mercy, whether it's normal Dark Carnival, etc., right? But at the same point in time, survivors are kind of on cruise control at this point because that first tank they just needed not to wipe. And the SI, like I said, it's taken nothing away from Team MSL. They've played a very evenly matched game for the most part, but that wipe last map off the double boom, when you have survivors moving from one point to another as a team, that's when that kind of stuff can go down. That was almost a depth charge as well to MK, a little bit of a difference between the two maps. I think that actually would have been an insta-kill as this jockey is still doing work. Like, MSL are fighting with everything that they have, but like you said, map knowledge, that pipe goes downward on this version of No Mercy, not straight across.
Yeah, I like the attempt, but doesn't have quite the angle. The question is, what is he going to give him? Is it going to be 512 or 544? Usually it's in between that range when it spawns the tank.
God, that's such a bait, though. Because if you look at the map, it almost looks like the pipe connects, but in reality, it's broken down.
Right? I know. I thought he actually had a depth charge. I thought he had it, to be honest. I was about to start freaking out. No, actually, no. This is Derp Duck's map. I did not make this one.
I know. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, because that's the whole point. It's like, all right, on regular No Mercy, that probably, because they didn't clear the Charger, right? That would have been a death charge. But it's like the things that are now going against Team MSL, it's like you have a little bit of damage here, you have that example there. It's like they need everything to go right, and the first thing they have to do is not have this tank somehow die because the map is so wide open. It just needs to wander in there, smack Francis down, and then they need to kill the rest of them. That's all they have to do. Easier said than done, though, because they have the Uzis, and they have a lot of room to run. I've seen tanks die with survivor teams even down this low, MK. So the first step is just do what's absolutely needed to be done in this scenario. That is going to be two pinners dying, jockey dying, charger dying, boomer does land, but the survivors, as we mentioned, they're already bleeding, so they're going to push this tank in the hands of one US.
Wow, look at how aggressive they are in pushing him. Oh, they got him on the side. They just want to chip. Oh, for a minute I thought he fell off the map, but he doesn't die. No. I was about to say.
Hard, no.
Luckily,
the literally 13 HP and is pushing the tank, and they've gotten him down already over 700 HP. Like I said, they need to not mess around with this on SI side. Why is he still so far out? I'm honestly asking, because now the jockey is going to try to land to support the hunter and the smoker. It's now a rolling like 2.5 cap essentially, but he's already down to 4,500 HP. This is not a guaranteed wipe. It looks like a guaranteed wipe, but it isn't.
No, and he's trying to play long, but this is not the map for it, Rails. You can't play long. You got to get your spawns and set it in. I know what they're thinking. They want to try to drag this out as much as possible, but sometimes you just got to take what you got. And he's about to go AI, Rails. He's got to commit with a 2 cap and boom.
I don't like this because now the tank is down to he's gonna be bot. If he loses sight of them, he's gonna be bot. But now look at this. This is what I was talking about. There's still so much open space. The hunter is going and trying to land. They're trying to kill NF, and they launch him off the building, which, you know, that obviously helps Team MSL's case when it comes down to it. Now they're gonna get the looks like the wipe that they were going for, but that was looking tenuous for a second because the issue is, you know, okay, and if he gets punched off a building, that kind of helps when it comes down to it. But look at how close it was, MK. The tank only has about 800 HP left. You know, if you don't, like, just go for the absolute 100% play, which is, I think, what they were aiming for, right? It's like, even when survivors have 3 people fast and 1 person slow, nowadays, you can't just be like, oh, it's an auto wipe. You have to make sure everything lands. To their credit, MSL does bring it home, but that was 5% away from going AI and 800 health away from dying.
Yeah, that's wild. It took a big set to hold on to it that long, and it worked out for them. But now it's going to be bonus time evaluation. What are they going to need to make a comeback? They'll get 800 additional points. We'll put them at 3644. So 3644, they're going to need 454 bonus rails. I think it is.
No, it's more
54.
than that.
The tie.
Well, yeah, okay, so you're saying they're getting 800 distance, right?
Yeah, they need 450 something, I believe is the magic number.
No, it's okay. So
No,
if they
more
have,
than that.
Yeah, more than that. If they have 3644, right, then that's 366 on its own. So 366 plus 296, right, is over 600 points.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, so they need just around 600-ish bonus to make sure that they actually tie it from this. But like I said, this is a close quarter tank. NF has a tremendous amount of experience in this game, playing at a very high level, and I'd say he's probably either him or Sniper probably the best player for the SI, and it's fortunate for them that it's in his hands. The Hunter's going to get blown out of the sky though. MSL not going quietly. Zoe's going to stand on top of those things and take absolutely no damage, so okay, that's the first thing that they have to do. But MK, what do you think their best chance is of mitigating this tank?
Oh man, I believe they have to risk the biscuit, and oh man, to be honest with you, Rails, I would have liked to see one survivor stay in the safe room. Then you could keep one survivor in the stairwell, and then have two light him up as they back down and jump back in the safe room, and at least chip him down about 1500. And then he's committing with a 4500 HP tank. That's me, but that you can't do that anymore because they already left the safe room.
Yeah, oh, this Boomer is going to jump in, and he does manage to land after getting him 2'd. Oh, that's unfortunate for the survivors. These booms in these close quarter areas just really not going their way for Team MSL. NF does have the tank with 8,930 health now. He's getting shot a little bit, but again, 100 chip, you know, it could make or break something. We've seen games go down to that level of just fine-tooth comb, you know, if your tank takes a little bit of chip, but really it's kind of negligible considering the circumstances. I don't know if I like the smoker here, however, for the SI.
Yeah, but I don't think they have a choice. The time frame on the spawn timers, he's gonna roll with it. And the smoker pull not gonna land. He's already down 1,300. He takes Bill. Bill gets one punched on. Second punch, 3,000 health. He's still healthy. Another punch. The in cap goes out, 1,500 health. They're kiting the tank away. If they could take no more hits, this would be good.
Wow.
This would be good if they could do it. Oh, he gets another punch though, Rails. And another one.
Just kill him. Oh, all right. I mean, listen, this is winnable. Oh my goodness. Like, I think we were kind of expecting just a little bit of like oh, it's gonna be the same thing, but it was 3 in caps that got pushed on a team question mark. Only 1 in cap, but that bonus that we calculated at the start of this chapter, MK, or the start of this half for this chapter, is just, they need to only take 500 more points of bonus, you know, off the board on the SI side of things to win this game around. Can they do it with another tank? Yes, but also this is a huge open area. Survivors showing absolutely no. There's that thing go flying out the start there. They're gonna lose 200. Oh no, because here's the thing, right? They were expecting absolutely no problems because there was no charger, and then Francis, I wasn't expecting him honestly to just go flying off the building. That I think was a little overzealous by them.
Yeah, he jumped into a pounce, and I believe he took 40 fall damage because he got pounced in the air. I mean, they still have the mathematics to do it, but holding on and only losing 300 bonus for the rest of the chapter is really going to be a difficult task, Rails. I don't see it happening. Smoker pull down, quad try. Gets good value. Oh, the damage is coming up. He can't get the clear. 740, 700, 690. The jockey covers. And they
painful.
are
That's the game.
13 points, I think. No, they don't even need that.
It's already done because I was lowballing 600. So this game is going to be over, and it's for the saddest reason ever, which is the survivors unfortunately got overzealous, and they were partnered there. Where like Zoe and Francis were kind of watching each other. Like I was first personing Francis as he jumped off the building, and Zoe was pounced, and then he got intercepted climbing back up the ladder. And now he goes flying off the building again. Like what is this?
Yeah, the Charger not even close, but I think they know they got it by this point, and delay the pickup, shut down.
Excuse me, gentlemen. The goal of the game is to not go flying off the side of the building twice in a row and then have that happen. It's so unfortunate because they took the tank so much better, but, you know, again, it was a lot to ask for, I guess, to get through the rest of the SI hits and then also to, you know, still have to deal with another tank. I think, like I said, they just got kind of overzealous or a little overexcited. Like, I get Francis wanting to hold W when there's no charger, but he gets pounced off the side of the one building, and then the stupidity happens where unfortunately him and Zoe just get like separated at the worst time. You know, they still have kills, but they don't have the bonus at this point, MK, unless we're dramatically wrong about something. And you know, they fought a great game. Team Question Mark still playing with all they got on the SI side, as any team would. And this Charger is not going to land as the dual boom did, and that's going to be a little bit more damage, but I'm afraid it's a little bit too late for the survivors.
And there goes another pull. Not getting cleared. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that just dissipates so much more. They have an extra set of pills, but it's not enough to give him anything. And Spitter gets picked, and it's just going to probably be an easy cleanup for whoever gets the tank. Or they might survive the tank rails and make it, but they just won't have enough points. They definitely can still make it.
That's the issue. Had they somehow wiped Team Question Mark at the first tank, we'd be having a totally different conversation. But like I said, because they had the lead that they did coming into this map, it was easy enough for them to just be like, listen, we have to survive this, is kind of do that. It's going to be an ugly win, but it is still one where it's like, okay, they definitively were the better team. They took more advantage of the tanks, and most importantly, they didn't get wiped in those kind of close quarter areas, and they survived the tanks in the close quarter areas. And that's always kind of what Left 4 Dead 1 maps come down to on some like games.
Spawn. Oh, they're just going to go try to quad him, it look like. I think they know they won, so they're just having a little fun now, it would seem. Nope, they're just going to send it. Jockey's making noise. Yep, and... oh, here they go. Charger goes alone. Jockey's going to just show itself and die. And yeah, they're just having a little bit of fun now, Rails, for sure.
Yeah, so in terms of the tournament standing, right, obviously congratulations to Team Question Mark, commiserations to MSL. Where does that put Team Question Mark in terms of their tournament aspirations?
They're going to be 3-1, and then Monsters Shall Live should be 2-2. And I do believe that the tournament director wants to go the top 16 to playoffs. So I believe 4 wins will lock you up, and if I did my math correctly, 2 teams that are 3-3, 3-3 should be able to still get in. So the goal is to win 4 games, you're guaranteed in, and a few with 3-3 will get in depending on the strength of your schedule and the tiebreakers.
Yeah, that's going to be an in-cap going out for Team Question Mark again. Actually, 2 in-caps going out for Team Question Mark on Team MSL. That's going to be 3 with the spin. The point I was going to make, though, is that, okay, it's not all lost for MSL. They're 2-2, and, like, okay, they played against one of the best teams that's been active in the game over the past couple years, and they kept it relatively close. I'd say it's even closer than what the score is showing right now, but at the same point in time, you know, the clutchness and the ability to just take advantage of those like situations of being able to land a boomer when the survivors are transitioning from one spot to another, right? Like, that is super duper important. Snipe's going to be able to hopefully wrap this up for Team Question Mark on the SI side of things. It's going to be less than a 1K point game, and that is a generator doing God's work, obviously, and just slamming directly into Zoe's face. And it's now going to go rocketing towards Francis as well. He doesn't quite land it, but everyone's kind of questioning exactly what that was. MK, to me, that is just a perfect example of how Left 4 Dead 2 works as he grinds Francis to death. And now he's going to whip the generator directly at the other survivor as well and manage to get that wipe that we were looking for. So both teams tie on the last map, but it's Team Question Mark taking the win, 4,296 to 3,388 for Team MSL.